the world is full of suffering and misery everywhere you turn. Back then he noticed this, and this has not changed. The world is still full of what? Tremendous suffering and misery. It became the noble truth, or the noble, you got these facts. I don't care where you got these are happening. You got there are many things people know, it's not worth knowing. You got even sure why they collect this information. What is the purpose of it? Nothing noble about it. Nothing, I don't even know why you consider it. The second he goes, after he observed the world is full of suffering and misery, he goes, the cause of all this suffering and misery is desire. This is the second noble truth. He goes, desire is the cause of all the suffering and misery. He said, because people have so much thing they want and they like and they don't like, this is what's creating so much torment for the soul. The soul is in a perpetual state of suffering and unhappiness. Desire. Amen? And then he goes, how do I break that cycle? So he said, to avoid all the suffering and misery, get rid of desire. He said, if I could just get rid of desire, I will escape this wheel of perpetual what? Misery and suffering. Because what's linking me, you're going to feel is the feel. The feel is suffering and misery. But what links me to it is desire. If I can get rid of desire, I can't change the feel. I didn't create the feel, but I don't have to what? Participate. In fact, according to the tradition, they say after his son died, this is when he really, in essence, to escape all of his suffering and misery, he decided to find a way out. He decided to find a way out. Amen? And the fourth noble truth was, he said, overcome desire by the eightfold path, which is a methodology he finds. He said there is a way to get past desire that's linking you to the world of suffering and misery. And he called it the eightfold path, which I'll just share with you. And as I said, I think the truths are noble. And I think the eightfold path is very good. And this is where I'm going to show you, yet it's not what God has set the Christian in. If the Christian was to, let's say there be somebody like me, whether they choose to or not, they go, yes, these are noble truth or not noble truth, doesn't matter. You know, we are not set though with the eightfold path to move through it. We are set in love. And the reason I wanted to share some of this with you, because you need to understand where you have been placed and what is the methodology. You know, when I think in many places nowadays, what we call this is movated. They have these movated that moves you from one place to the next. How are you going to move from where you have been placed? You have already been translated. We look at this from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. Now, how do you move through the kingdom of light? What is the goal? What is the nature? And where are you going to? So, the Buddha said, how do we get rid of desire that links us, to all the suffering, and misery? And he came up with what's known as the eightfold path. He said one of the first things you need is the right views. You need to have the right view. How you see things need to be correct. That's quite challenging for a man that is fallen into darkness, because almost every view is what? Wrong. Yeah. Because in darkness I can't tell. Christ said when the blind lead the blind, I can't tell which is left from which is right. So, I find his strategies are correct, but how are you going to find them? How are you going to do them? He said right views. And in order to have right view, you need the right thoughts. This is the second part of the eightfold thought. Right view, right thoughts. And then you go from that, you need right speech. Because a man speaketh, so it will. Amen? He said, according to the Christianity, they said, the tongue, amen, is filled with what? Life and death. So you need to have the right view and the right thoughts, and you need to speak the right things, and you don't get the death in your life. And then you need right action. So I don't know how does a species, that has been steeped in sin, and God said all their thoughts and imagination are bad, going to have right views, and right thoughts, and right speech, and right action, which is the fourth. He said you're going to need right action. And the fifth, if you can do, the fourth should come, right living. If I have the right views and the right thoughts and the right speech and the right action, I should have what? Right living. The problem is, the person, the entity, these things are expected is what? Reverse all of that. He's wrong in every way. Wrong views, wrong thoughts, wrong speech, wrong action, wrong life. which is the fruit. So Buddha is writing this observation, all these are wrong. You see? Then right effort. Where he or she going to expend their energy, it must be what? The right way at the right time. Right effort. That was the 6th. And the 7th was right mindfulness. You have to what you're going to keep in your mind, the things you're going to be meditating or thinking about or planning should be what? The right thing. Because we're specialized in thinking about what? The wrong things. Most of mankind, this is why he has wrong thoughts and wrong view. Because most of what he's thinking about is what? His mindfulness is what nobody should be mindful of. He constantly, through his intellectual, through his creative, synthetic imagination, or creative imagination, is constantly being mindful about something. But, you see, so he needs to have the appropriate right mindfulness. What he or she keeps in that head of theirs? What do they meditate on? What are they contemplating?
What is the mind full of?
What is the mind full of in essence? It's always full of something. Plenty of things actually. Yeah. What is it? Because if it's not right, it will disturb all the rest. The views will be wrong, and the thoughts will be wrong, and the speech and the action, everything will be wrong. And finally, he goes, in the right mindfulness, he goes right meditation. The things you're going to be, churning over and over must be the right thing in your mind. Now, I think anybody who have any form of intellectual, capacity will go, these are good things. They are. I find the Four Noble Truths very noble, and I find the principles, the Eightfold Path, is very effective and truthful and honorable, and it's good. It's very good. It's very good. However, I've studied mankind and I've known man can't accomplish it on his own. The historical man cannot accomplish this on his own. I don't know how Buddha accomplished this. Because man is perpetually, his mind, the first problem begins in the mindfulness. The mind is preoccupied with the wrong thing, which becomes his meditation, which affects everything else. His views becomes off, his thoughts becomes off, his speech, his action, his living, his effort, it all becomes a collective waste. Amen? So, we find that, as I said, he simply cannot be effective in that area because of that. Amen? Equally, because of where we have been placed, as we see, we cannot use the path, for instance, Islam used, because it's direct in conflict with our command to love each other, amen, and love even those, because you can't be fighting those, as I said, that do not willing to in the Sutra 2, chapter 2, verse 195, amen, and 134, all the way to 148 in chapter 5, 93, you can't be fighting those that do not agree with you. Or do not love or committed to the same thing you are committed to. It will be direct. You could do it, but it will be direct in conflict with where Christ has placed you. God will translate you. And the path He's transitioning you through to get you to a particular destination. Amen. As much as I said, also the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path sound fantastic. Amen. You're going to find again these particular things does not deal with what we are, where we have been placed. They deal with you, the individual. They deal with you, the individual, trying to stop all the misery and the suffering you're experiencing through a series of things, which ideally, if you can do that, might make you do not be hurting yourself or other people or maybe the planet. Amen. But it will not accomplish the demand God puts upon Christians. You might say, but it might help me to love them better. Maybe. Amen. But you're not growing the nature. You're growing some virtues.
Perfect.
Amen. And so forth. In the name of Jesus.
In other words, where's the grace?
Yes.
You're not growing in grace.
Yeah. Now, in the Eightfold Path, what Buddha is that they're trying to get to, amen, Nirvana, which is their version of heaven to where we Christians try to get to. And the reason for doing it, they're trying to escape all the misery and suffering. Now, right here is where Christianity is very different to in this. And the goal of me sharing this is not to show you the distinct between Christianity and this, that does not solve our challenge. It's to show you what method you cannot use based on the path of where you're going to. I think, as I said, Buddhist path is a very good path, but it would help me to get to where I have been placed in and where I'm transitioning through and where I'm trying to get to. And I'm going to show you why. As good as the Four Noble Truths is and the Eightfold Path, here's the challenge. Buddhists are trying to get to nirvana, escape all misery and suffering. Christianity, I grew up in a version of Christianity like this. I just got to, hang on and survive in the misery and suffering and wait till I die and go to heaven. It's almost like a Buddhist practice, except Buddhists are actively trying to escape it. In Christianity, in the first, what I grew up in, I'm just trying to endure it to get to heaven. One is trying to escape it to get to nirvana, their heaven, and one is trying to endure it. That's not the Christianity God has sent for Jesus and called for. God, in the suffering and misery, beside God has refit us, He got, I want to be with you, I've give you paraclesis, you see? And I want to walk through all this misery and suffering. I'm going to harden you and I'm going to grow you up in this process. You see, Lamentation said the hurt to the field. God said, you're not trying to escape it. I'm going to harden you to it and I'm going to be with you and I'm going to grow you through it. So if we try to use Buddhism, we miss the classroom, the field that we need for what? Transition. You cannot use that methodology. You see?
Compatibility.
Yes, because it's not compatible with your calling and your transformation. It's a nice thing. The second thing is they're trying to escape all this misery and suffering to get to nirvana, but in the process, you see, you got to get rid of desire. So you lose the ability to interplay. Part of the process God uses, God wants relationship. Relationship. In the Buddhism, he goes, one of the reasons all this misery and suffering is because of all these relationships, all these attachment to people, things, and situations. So it will detach you even from God, the personal God, Jesus, amen, who is your heaven and your peace and your joy, to interplay even with Him to walk through the process. Amen. God wants you to overcome the things. None of the things can control you. You should be able to move what? Through them. Amen. So you'll find as noble as it is, as I said, it's in a direct conflict with where you have been placed and how the Lord is transitioning you through the process. Mm-hmm. Amen? We want to, when they say whether we want to or not, we have been placed in Christ. He said, I'm not asking you to take them out of the world. Amen? But I'm asking you to protect them. He said, I want them to move through the process without succumbing to the process. In essence, this, and you could see God's mind very clear. God, I have given you dominion, amen, of these things. If I have to pull you out of it, then the thing is what? It has dominion what? Over you. Dr. Miles used to say before he died, we have been given dominion, let's say, over trees and different things. Yet we allow things like marijuana and different things, we get high, things to dominate you.
A plant.
Yeah, a plant to dominate you. God goes, no. In essence, you got the dominion that I have give you. Amen. And the regeneration now I have give you. I am going to give you the dominion back to show you how to overcome all this thing. I'm not, he said, all the suffering and misery, it's not to run you out. You must run what? Over it. It's not to run you out. You're not trying to escape and go to nirvana. So this version of Christianity, just die and get to heaven. No, that means the realms that he put me in was too much of what? Me. So I have to escape it. So it's like a Christian Buddhism. I'm just trying to escape the realms that I've been given what? Stewardship over. God said, no. I'm regenerating you and restoring your what? Your stewardship. You are going to bring all of this back into what? Order. You are going to control the water instead of the water run you out, and the trees and the land and the animals. God, in Genesis chapter 9, God tell Noah, I will put the dread of you upon what? All the animals. I will make them all afraid of what? You. You're not trying to run to nirvana. I'm trying to restore you to the image that the things come back what? Under you. Because Jesus is putting everything what? Under his feet, and you are his extension. So we cannot use a path that's pulling us away. We have to use the one that's maturing us in the way to deal with the matter. Sorry, Pastor Chow. I just wanted to finish my thoughts.
The answer.
Amen. Amen. I had a feeling the Lord will answer it. Amen. Can you see the difference? They're very different. The trajectory is different.
It's huge.
One, this is why we say all religions are like, they are not alike. In the Eightfold Path is wonderful. The noble truth is, but it takes you where? Away from the realms. You're trying to get to Nirvana. The Christianity I grew up with behaves just like that. We're trying to endure the suffering, not to overcome it, to get where? To heaven, walking streets of gold. So that which I was designed in the image and given authority, I've never been, and that's the reason I'm regenerated, can never be actualized. In essence, we cannot go to God, the man you make is inferior to the environment. God goes, no. No. The man did become inferior to sin, but I've regenerated a man and make him superior what? To the environment. He's not running out to Nirvana. He's not even running out to heaven. He's a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. Restoring the image and likeness. Amen. And Christ have given now authority and power that all the misery, now, not even the man, I think this will be an untruth if the man, I have to agree with it, but if the man go, well, this realms does not have any misery and suffering, I think that's a lie. I think the realms is filled with misery and suffering. But I think the man that is regenerated and the first man God made is equipped to deal with what? All the misery and suffering. You know, there's a commercial, and I think it's an IBM commercial. And it got, we hate problems. The commercial goes, we hate problems. You're trying every way to escape what? Problem. But it's because of problem we create antibiotics. It's because of problems, amen, we create self-food. It's because of all these challenges. If not, we would never do it.
Wouldn't need to.
The plane, the transport, it's all because of challenges, but we hate it. Like, it's going to take time and energy. It's going to challenge, you understand? My dominionship. It's supposed to. It's why you were given dominion. Can you imagine Adam? God created him in his image, give him dominion. He's chilling. But then right away God gave him work. God goes, okay, here's a slew of hundreds of animals. Name them. Can you see? Oh God, I hate problems. Why do I have to figure it out? It's why he was created. He immediately gives them a problem to what? To solve. And believe me, the problem. God didn't bring the animal and go, this is a tiger, this is a lion. You go, figure out what you should call them. I have given you all the capacity. Now here is an immediate problem to what? Solve. If that the man doesn't have what? Purpose. This is when the man should have been sinning. But God gives the man work immediately, problem to solve, that the man should not have any time to what? I believe where we get ourselves in the most trouble, you don't have a problem to solve. You have nothing that's grabbing you, that's engaging you to solve. Are you listening to me? I believe people that are engaged in a major task to solve, there's not a lot of distraction, a lot of things they can get themselves in trouble. They don't have the time. Those that doesn't have anything major to do, these are the people I find get themselves in the most trouble. Because they have this capacity to solve, but there's nothing to what? Solve with. Then God goes, oh, on top of you name the animal, I want you to tend of everything. You'll find it's quite challenging to take care of everything. Oh, and there must have been another force like this. This other force might try to break in. Guard it. Oh, and by the way, like Jesus said, you can't lose anything. You got to keep it all. Jesus said, if one sheep lost, I have to go find it. So the thing God put in your hand, you can't lose them. You can't go, Father, it just gone. He goes, no. You have to give an account. In fact, he doesn't even accept this. But I just bury it in the ground. He goes, that doesn't do nothing for me. You got minimum, put it in a bag. The thing has to grow. Tending deal with what? Nurturing. My wife is a tending. She's usually in her garden. I think we have the best garden in our area. But it doesn't magically happen. She's always tilling it. Even for the winter, she's winterizing it. She guards it. Do you understand? The snow and different environment I wanted. She has a way of protecting it. So you can't run away, you can't use the Eightfold Path to escape your suffering by eliminating desire to get to nirvana. That didn't fix why you were created on the ramp, then you should have been born in heaven. Do you understand this process? What Christ does is regenerate you, and the Bible teaches us in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 21 to 22, you are equipped to do His will where? Here. You have to deal with the suffering and misery here. I know we hate it. But you were created to problem solve. Can you see it, church? Now, this is also why we can't use something like Islam. We cannot be creating more trouble than we have. I can't be creating more hatred than the Rams have. I can't be sending more enmity than the Rams are. The Rams is full of it. I can't be fighting those that don't agree with what my God commands. Do you understand? And in hope that if I do all this, create this, I'm going to just escape to paradise and have some wine and some virgins. It's just different. Do you understand this process? You must see it properly. And I said, the goal is, please understand what this goal is. It's not to show the difference between religion. I want to show you where you have been placed and what you're called and why you can't use certain things. It doesn't matter to a certain degree they're different. They're different or not. The question is, you can't use these methodology because you're moving to a different movator. Do you understand this process? To a different destination. You've been set in a different place for a different reason. You cannot escape and go to nirvana. Amen? And do not overcome the suffering and misery. God's going to keep bringing suffering and misery so you can problem what? Solve. 30 years ago I have this issue with God. I go, why are you always bringing me these kind of things? Why can't you bring me some fun thing? You know, some of you that know me, I never get calls when people are having barbecue and birthday parties. No, that's not the calls I get. I get the call when the ship is about to sink. They don't even go, well, the ship might sink. No! The ship is about to sink, like, well, throw everything off. Like, Bishop, can you help me right now? I'm not like, the ship is sinking so fast, I don't have a month to fix it. Moments, days. But this is the purpose of the regeneration. Can you see? This is the purpose of equipping. Welcome, sister. Being equipped with the will of God. Be equipped to do the will of God. Can you see it, church? Amen? This is the opportunity, the field to love, the field to grow in grace. The Bible says, grow in grace in the knowledge of the Son of God. This is the field that is before us. The Buddha said, that field is just suffering and misery. Might be so. I can't use the Eightfold Path to escape it. And I definitely can't create more hell by hating them. Amen? And I definitely can't go, you're the one created this, your burden is on your neck, nobody is helping you. Nobody, you're on your own. The Bible teaches in James, I can't go. If he asks me for help, I can't go. Have faith, good luck. The Bible said, no, you cannot do that. You cannot wish him well and don't give him no goods, clothes, or food.
Be warm, well fed, my brother, and he has no coat and no food.
No, God said, no. I see you, and I know where I've placed you, and I know what I've given you. You will give an account. This is why we said judgment begins in the church. Why? Why? Did you problem solve? You know, there's a brother, I have a brother Mordecai in the body of Christ. And Mordecai said, you want to be successful? Find a problem to solve. There's one reason why you're not successful. You have not found your unique problem that you can what? Solve. We pray to God, but a lot of nonsense. One of the best prayer you can pray to God. The Bible calls it, I've been giving you seeds. Let me explain, let me break it down for you. Your seeds, you understand? It's a problem that when you come and you sow your wisdom or your ability into that field or that sphere, it becomes solved. And you're typically handsomely rewarded, both physically and spiritually, for solving the problem. Are you listening? Let me say it again. Your field, it's a problem, a challenge. And you have a seed, a solution. Your seed is a solution. And when you release that solution into the atmosphere, into that sphere, into that problem, you are handsomely rewarded. Because the solution benefit many was able to derive benefit. And typically, notice what the scripture said, are you going to be accredited? The Bible says when you release a solution that out of derive a benefit, then what the scripture said, you are accredited. But as if you're releasing something that nobody benefit, why should you be credited? You know, we live in this world and they say the children of this generation are very entitled. Now let me define it a little bit. This is what they're saying. They don't want to release no solution, but they expect to be what? Accredited. They don't want to solve the problem. I had a labor problem. I needed some effort. They don't want to put no effort, but they want to be paid. Do you understand? So they are very entitled to be paid, but they don't want to solve no what? Problem. They're looking for nirvana, but they want to be what? Paid. No. If you look to nirvana, you can't be paid. You have to solve the problem. There's a field. There's a challenge. Amen? You do need God to regenerate you, refit you, to equip you to do the will. And you have to be willing for Him to lead you to the suffering and the misery, to the problem where you can what? Solve. Are you listening to me? The Bible says each of us has to appear before the beam of the judgment seat of Jesus. And I guarantee it's going to be this. What problem did you solve? What seed did you sow into the challenge of the field that I bring before you? Which one did you tend? Which one did you guard? Which one did you keep? Which problem did you solve? There's enough. If you don't catch this, Christianity will frustrate you. I grew up in Christianity. I thought, I'll be walking the streets of gold. Like Job said when he walked, it was like milk and butter by his feet. But Job didn't realize there are fields coming for him to solve problem. He said, Job said, I remember the days. Amen. There's a crown on my head, and when I walked, my feet was moving along butter and milk. Amen. But there was problems to be solved. Problem, we live in a realm and we were created, and I love God this way. I almost feel like God did this. You guys create the problem, you're going to fix it. Except I'm not letting you fix it, but you can't fix it in your state. I'm going to regenerate the state superior to the problem, but you are fixing the problem. And He's much more merciful than that. You're fortunate. I'm not going to let you do it by your what? Self. Even though you created it. He said, I'm going to do it with you. But you better believe we are fixing this problem. You are my co-worker. You're my fellow laborer. We are going to labor through the misery and suffering till, you understand, it gets to the place when I bring the new Jerusalem and the new earth, when there's no more sickness and suffering. But in the process of getting there, guess what? You're going to be in the family business. We actualize it. You're going to share in all the reward, all the glory. But guess what? You're going to share in all the suffering. You're co-here with me. You're going to share in all the reward, but you're going to help solve all the what? All the problems. Sometimes if I want to grumble before the Lord because there's a problem and I don't think it's fair or what, you do enjoy sharing the glory, don't you, son? Of course, Lord. Then you better get used to sharing the what? In the suffering. I suffer for the world I create. I suffer for the people I create in the world. And those that are my here will do what? Do the same with me. I like to think of it like, you're going to help me fix the problem. You guys created. I could have let you do it by yourself, but I'm not going to leave you as an orphan. I'm going to do it what? With you. How merciful He is. To regenerate you, re-equip you, and then do it what? With you. I think fear would have been, He didn't even need to regenerate you, but it's far enough just to regenerate it and then go, okay, they'll fix it. But He goes, no, I'm not going to leave you that way. You still don't know what you're doing. Do you have the ability? I'm going to do it what? With you. You got the Nirvana thing, get it out of your head. That's not happening. Even when He comes during the millennium, do we get to call up to the sky and go to heaven? No. We're going to have 1,000 years to do what? Work. Well, what kind of work? Fix the problem. Satan, the one, the troublemaker, the mischief maker, going to be locked away. No more problem going to be created, but we have to fix all the one that we what? We already created. 1,000 years you're gonna fix everything back. My heart, the way I had it, you're gonna help me fix it. Then I'm gonna lock away the enemy permanently, and nobody's gonna create hell anymore. Then they're gonna be nirvana. Not before. Church, can you see it? So if you don't catch this, I'm doing good things, but they're not the right things. The noble truth, I believe they are noble. I get the Buddha instinct. There was a time in my life I just want to escape. Early in my Christian walk, actually for a long time in my Christian walk, I pray for the Lord to just come, Lord Jesus, come or take me. What don't I want to deal with?
Problems.
All the suffering and misery. I'm seriously practicing some Buddhism, Christianity. I'm trying to escape. I was awake to see the problem, and my first instinct is to what? Run, abort ship. Get out! Well, the Lord said, no, I don't want you out. Jesus said, I'm not praying for you to come out. I'm praying for you to be protected in the suffering and misery and well equipped to solve some problem. Your seed, the Bible said, I have given bread to the eater and seed to the sower. So there are those who will eat from the harvest, and there are those who sow into different challenge to what? To solve it. And after it's solved, you understand? That becomes a place people can enjoy. Food for people to eat. Blessed are you if you just eat it. But I think blessed is he even more who can solve what? Problem, who can sow seed. The church is a sowing seed machine. It's supposed to solve problems. It's supposed to be at the forefront of solving what? Problems. The problem is an excellent field that the church been equipped and fitted to deal with. If not, she doesn't have the purpose. Salvation is only the beginning of our what? Our purpose. Jesus was not just, the Bible says we have the same salvation of Jesus. Was he just raised at the right hand of God? Or just resurrected? No, he was raised at the right hand of God and given what? Responsibility, all authority and what? Someone who will be given authority is responsible for what? Everything. And power to carry it what? Out. He was raised to responsibility. In the name of Jesus. To God be the glory.
So Islam is directly against our nature. Buddhism is directly against our purpose.
Yes. And because they're looking for something different, they're doing what they're doing based on what they're looking for their paradise. We're not looking for a paradise. We are looking, and what has been given to us is a regeneration or a fitting or an equipping to deal with the task at hand. Buddhism, as Pastor Joe said, they're against the purpose. It's trying to move you against the refitting. You understand? Islam methodology is not to move you, but contradictory to the path or the fitting. We have to love, it's going to fight. We have to forgive, it's the enmity, it's direct. And the final destination also is very different. Do you understand?